Realise that he'll be glad that it wasn't Virgil van Dijk's Player of the Match award.
There's no way Canate was getting it today.
Diogo Jota did get the win, but it was quite a low-key interview. It's felt that way around Anfield for the whole of the evening. It wasn't hugely celebratory at the final whistle. Why do you think that was?
I think it was more relief on the back of Liverpool have had to wait so long since that Newcastle game, and it wasn't just losing the game, it was the manner of the defeat, really. So that would have stayed with the players for a long time. They went away international duty, they've had to wait, no game at the weekend. And no matter how many people in our position or around the country say the league's over, when you're inside the club or you're the team who are deemed to have, the title's over, it never feels like that. And it probably even feels like that for Liverpool supporters towards the end of the game, very anxious within the stadium, just wanting that, final whistle to be blown, because, yeah, you can talk about the 12 points in front. No Arsenal fan thinks they've got any chance of winning the league, but Liverpool fans still think they do, and Liverpool players will. And as he said before the game, it's not done until it's done.
Duncan, you said earlier Everton defended really well in their own box. How did Liverpool make the breakthrough through Jota?
But a magic, really, wasn't it? That's what the game needed. Good feet. Obviously, there's a wee bit of... The boy was offside, wasn't he? Standing offside, but then he gets good feet, lovely feet, nice flick, and goes through. And that's probably the first time that Everton really would come and stuck in their box, because they were very good throughout the whole game at making clearances, getting their challenges in.
There he is, Luis Diaz, in the offside position. We'll clear that up in just a second, but what you can see is he doesn't make a move towards the ball, which is what the VAR is looking for when they judge that, as to whether or not he's illegally offside, rather than just standing in an offside position.
I mean, you can see Tarkowski, he knows he's there, he looks at him, he actually puts his arm out as well to look at him. It's brilliant from Jota. But you see, just look at Tarkowski now, he has one look, he has another look, he points his arm there. Now, he doesn't probably go to ground if Luis Diaz isn't there. He probably just clears the ball up the pitch. But the fact Luis Diaz doesn't make any movement towards the ball, when you look at the rules, there was no way this was ever going to be overturned, because when we'll look at the actual terminology now of the rules.
They may well look and think, well, he was aware that he was there and it affected what James Tarkowski did.
But Barthwaite's in there and he's noticing that he's putting his hand up, he's not concentrating, so he's looking for the offside. So when action comes towards him, he's not concentrating enough, so he's shouting for the offside, isn't he?
So he's not obstructing his line of vision, he isn't challenging for the ball, he isn't even attempting to play the ball or even really move towards it, and isn't making an obvious action which impacts on the ability of James Tarkowski to play the ball, because Tarkowski did play the ball, but he was standing in an offside position. Yeah,
and listen, when you go through that, it's not going to be given. That tells you that it's not offside. But I mean, we'll just look at it again. You just say, it's really interesting. Tarkowski, he's well aware of that. He's there. He makes a play to knock it into Ghana, and listen, it's brilliant from Jota, and it's probably the only real big chance Liverpool had in the game, certainly up until that stage. But I mean, there was something similar, I think, a few years ago actually with Harry Kane and Liverpool at a similar end of the pitch. I think Tottenham got the goal that day. But it's interesting, man, I'm commentating on that. Now, I think that's a goal when you actually look at go through the rule book. But I actually think it's unfair at times when a cross comes in and you actually see a defender sort of lunging for it. And as Duncan mentioned before, maybe I've past experience of that. But sometimes when you think someone's gone for a ball a full stretch because the attacker's there and they don't make an attempt for the ball, the defender puts it in his own goal or drops it to the feet of someone else and they score. I think that's very unfair. That one, I think, is a little bit different because Tarkowski isn't in a completely strange position or anything. He's still trying to play that ball into Ghana. So I think it's one of them. If it goes against you, you're frustrated. But I think in the main, most people want that as a goal.
Yeah, a little bit of magic, as you say, from Diogo Jota. But you'd imagine that David Moyes is feeling pretty aggrieved. Here he is with Juliet Farrington. The teams around the sort of Champions League places in the division. But he was saying in midweek, David Moyes, and bearing in mind this is the chat in the build-up to this game, that he thought that Everton and Liverpool were maybe as far apart as they had been in a long time. But over these two games now, after this match, he said they were much closer than maybe he thought they would be before he came into the club. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, because score-wise it is, isn't it? It's a draw and they've only lost one today. If you're looking at football-wise, possession-wise and things like that, they're well away from it. But no, for score-wise, they got a good draw at Goodison, and then it's a narrow defeat tonight. So they're definitely a wee bit closer on the score, that's for sure.
And they got the draw, as you say, at Goodison. It was a 1-0 defeat this evening, but David Moyes felt they could have got more from this game here at Anfield. Do you think they did enough to get that?
No, I didn't. No, first half I did. One or two, chances, counter-attacking chances. Beto obviously had two counter-attacking chances, one goal offside, one he hit the post. That was the big chance for them. Second half, there wasn't a lot of chances for Everton. Although Liverpool never had a lot of chances either. They had shots on goal, a lot of entries into the box. I thought Everton defended fantastically well, really did. The game plan was brilliant, and it took a wee bit of magic, didn't it, to break them down.
As you said, difficult fixtures coming up for Everton. They've got Arsenal and then Forest still to come, and playing those Champions League teams, or those teams challenging for Champions League places over the coming weeks. What do you think they need to get between now and the end of the season? They're very comfortable in terms of their league position and have been for a while. And sometimes you can lose that edge from the performances.
It's down to the manager, isn't it, to keep that motivation going. I think he talks about relegation. The three teams that are going to get relegated are down there. Everton have been safe for a long time, and it's just keeping the players motivated and getting results to climb that table. It's congested in there. A few results can get you up to the mid-table. So that's what we're looking to do, to keep the momentum going into for next season, to keep the fans on board, everybody on board, and to get results. That's the name of the game, is to get results.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this new stadium, and obviously Everton fans will miss Goodison, one of the historic grounds in the Premier League. But the stadium's going to bring a lot to the city. It's going to bring a lot to the area, and Everton will be hoping it can bring a lot to them. Can they take momentum from this season into next if they finish strongly?
I think they can. They'll want to finish at Goodison. That'll be the big thing for them this season, to finish at Goodison, maybe go undefeated. They've gone a long while now since David Moyes has come in his first game. I think they lost at home to Aston Villa, I think. I mean, it looks fantastic. I drive past it most days.
Especially at night time, doesn't it?
And I think you're right, Kelly. Listen, this stadium's for Everton. It's not just about the city, but I think even if you're a Liverpoolian within the city, you do look at it in awe. And as I said, I drive past it most days. It looks fantastic, and it'll be great for Everton, more importantly than anything, but also great for the city. It looks fantastic on the water there, and it will give them sort of great hope, because it feels like, to me, for the last 5 or 6 years, Everton's whole thing has been, just get to the stadium. Make sure we're a Premier League club by the time we get to the stadium. Obviously, they have ownership issues and managerial issues, just stay in the Premier League, and they've done that. And I actually think it's brilliant that David Moyes is going to be the manager who takes them into the new stadium. And I said before the show that he's an Evertonian. He's not just Everton's manager, he feels like an Evertonian. And his interview was an Everton manager's interview who's lost at Anfield. You complain about the goal, you defend your guy who might have got the red card, and you made it tough for Liverpool, and he's right, they did. Over these 2 games in the last sort of couple of months, they've made it really, really tough for Liverpool, and Liverpool have got more of that to come over the next few years with David Moyes as manager of Everton. Well,
hopefully we've explained the offside situation and as to why that wouldn't have been given by the officials. It might not be something that David Moyes wants to accept at the moment, but I think we've done that. Well, what we haven't looked at again is the James Tarkowski challenge. David Moyes said, I don't want them kind of put in the balance there, and one weighs out the other one. But it was a challenge that, as he said, may have been more at home in previous derbies over previous decades.
Jamie would have got away with that one back in the day. But it's naughty, isn't it? He knows what he's doing. He's rolling over the top of the ball. He's gone right through it, and he knows what he's doing there, and he's caught the boy a cracker. A bad one, real bad one.
I mean, listen, we know it's a bad tackle. We were no angels, especially in these games. And someone will say, how can you criticise them and show me a tackle on social media? I'm sure they will. But I saw this at the end, them coming together, and he's saying, I didn't mean it. We've all been there. But I go back to a challenge Tarkowski made as a Burnley player against an Everton player. And it was very similar. It was out on the touchline. He come right across, and I can't remember the Everton play. We were very strong on it that night, me and Gary, in the studio. Now, I know you can talk about maybe Everton got away with one, but he let Everton down in some ways, and that, because 9 times out of 10 you get sent off for that. And then you're playing...
Well, no, not James Tarkowski, who is the joint record holder in the Premier League for most yellow cards without getting a red card. He's got 63, him and Oriol Romeo. So maybe he's judging it perfectly. Maybe he's just kind of playing on the edge.
No, but I think those tackles now, it is daft doing it from your own team's point of view, because with VAR, you shouldn't get away with it. And Everton should have been down to 10 men. And they were in with a fighting chance there right until the last kick of the game. But if you get a man sent off so early in the game, so he's almost, it's not just about sort of leaving a tackle on a Liverpool player or getting away with one. Really, he let his team down, but he was very fortunate to get away with it.